येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So today we have a couple of shlokas. So somebody would like to unmute and read the shloka and the translation. There are two shlokas.
Prabhuji, can I read?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Bhagavad Gita 4.1. Shri Bhagavanuvacha imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manur ikshvake bravit manu ikshvake bravit. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The personality of Godhead Lord Shri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivaswan, and Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Next shloka. Somebody would like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Get
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 2. Evam parampara praptim imam rajarasya yo viduha sakale neha mahata yogo nashtah parantapa. Translation by His Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it appears to be lost. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay. So these two shlokas we have read and heard and understood the why Krishna is talking about that. But there's also, because these are all given by Srila Prabhupada, so somebody may ask that you're just introducing someone to ISKCON and giving these books and just telling them to read and not read anything else. So isn't that Prabhupada's words, the conclusions he has given, is it not a blind faith? You're just blindly following. So let us understand how the descending process works. So these teachings and philosophical conclusions, which are elaborately Srila Prabhupada has given in his books. So at first, someone may think that, oh, this is just blind faith, just have to go through. You have to just read through. And that stops our critical thinking. But actually, it is more deeper than what we think. Um, so the Vedas explains these two processes, like I had mentioned in the previous class, Aroha Panta and Avaroha Panta. So one is ascending process and the descending process. The modern academics, basically, fundamentally they are all based on the ascending process. So they observe things. There's observations being done, and there's the technical process. There's so many technical things people are studying. So many fields they are researching. So they create theories, and based on theories, they will explain this is how the world is working. So that's how we are all driven by. That's how we are finding jobs. We are able to sustain ourselves, and that is how we think this is the reality. So that is how we are living in this three-dimensional world. So in this environment, what happens is there is no absolute truth. So in the ascending process, they do not consider the science, the modern science does not consider that there is an absolute truth or any personality who is controlling us. So the nature itself is working is in its own way, and that's how they have theorized it. And constantly they propose and discuss so many things. That's how there are so many forums, there are so many meetings happening at the international level. So that's how the Nobel Prizes have been given out. So many discussions happen. So one thing, if you notice that success in this particular field of researching and getting up to that top position and getting recognized. So success means you have to contest on the existing theory. There's some theory and you bring up with a new theory, and supposedly you are able to give it a better answer or prove it that the previous one is lesser. So that's how the science world works. And they organize so many ways, all this scientific community, and nobody really knows how it is working, all the entire universe. So they're just researching. So if you ask them, so they're still in the research process, and they say the sky is the limit, but we have not yet reached the sky yet. So we are still in the research process. That is how, even if you go to medical sciences or anything, it can be, or in the engineering processes, or it can be the discoveries they have made. So they don't know exactly how it works or where it is coming from. So that is how the research is going on. So everything is based on theories, the different theories. Since our childhood, college, we have read, understood. Yeah. So, but thing is, these theories, most oftenly, they do not have a solid or conclusive evidences. And there's always a chance that the previous theory can be broken down, or you can prove it wrong over a period of time. So few decades ago, many decades ago, I'm just giving this example that uh, the theory of dinosaurs. So they considered dinosaurs to be big reptiles. So that's how they say that even crocodiles also are part of the dinosaur family. So they were big reptiles, rhinoceros or crocodiles. So they mostly they have survived and because of the big explosion which took place. So it destroyed the entire planet. The entire the living entities which are there, it got wiped out from this nature. So that's how they say. So they believe that reptiles, but nowadays there's a difference of opinion that these were not exactly the dinosaurs which walked on earth, but majorly they were all birds which were flying. They were very huge birds, and that's how they have found bones and all those things, and they had wings exactly. So that's how they get. So tomorrow it may be something else. So tomorrow somebody will come and they may represent from science, and they will say, no, no, this is something else. So that is how this world is working. Now coming back to the schools based on the Vedas, the earlier olden age schooling system or the thought process was based on the different principles. So instead of pursuing for answers from the self using different senses. Okay, so because we have to first of all understand that it is already mentioned in the Vedas that our senses are limited and imperfect. What we see, we hear, it's not the complete truth we are going to obtain. So we receive knowledge from the imperfect senses in the way of ascending process. So what is the best way? So let us go to the perfect source, the perfect authority who will be giving us the knowledge. So this is the basis of understanding that the material manifestation is created by a perfect person or a perfect being. Now that perfect person possesses perfect knowledge, and he will transmit that knowledge. And how it is done? It is through Vedas. That is the evidence which is being given. That is how even Lord Brahma, according to Vedas, is considered to be the first living entity, and he passed on that message to everybody. The information is passed on and it has been recorded. So this point is understood by and accepted by everybody according to the descending process. Ascending process, we understand. We are all living in the world of ascending process now. And we believe, yes, science is there. We don't believe in God. So that is the understanding of many so-called educated people in this world. You go to any companies or anyone. So that is how it is working. So so once this is accepted that this is the perfect source and this is the perfect knowledge which has been given, now proposing new theories or changes, it becomes invalid and it is irrelevant. So the idea becomes that properly understanding from the perfect knowledge which is already there, so we don't have to do any changes. So of course, in between, what has happened is there are so many interpretations, so many changes which they have tried to make it, but it has not happened because over and over again, different representatives of Lord Krishna himself, they have come and given the knowledge to us as it is. So that's why if you see even to Arjun also in in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is mentioning that just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Tadvitti pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So he's telling you approach a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. Now, because these two shlokas we are going to discuss about, we are talking today about parampara, how we are able to receive this knowledge. Krishna is telling that we this is how it was passed on. And in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning about at least 12 crores approximately, rough time he's giving that it was said by Krishna himself to Manu. Now it was told to Vivaswan. Now when Vivaswan appeared, that we have to calculate. But at least the Manu's calculation Prabhupada is giving in the purport that 12 crores years back, it was already given. So in the Manu line, there's Ikshvaku, there's Raghu dynasty. So that's all. Now again, he's repeating the same words, same principles to Arjuna. So that's how he is telling. So why he is telling that in the shloka of the 4.34, he mentions that the self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. That means, how do you see? Is it that it's visible in front of you, just like we watch television? No, the seeing the truth, the seeing capability is through hearing. So they have heard, they know that this is the perfect knowledge which we are receiving. So the authority or the authenticity is very much required here. As I mentioned, any book can be misinterpreted. So interpretation is required, but misinterpretations are very much possible, and it was going on, and it is still going on. But we have to go to the right source. And especially in the case of Vedas, they transmit very deep and delicate philosophical conclusions in a very condensed way. So to properly understand the conclusions of the scriptures, we rely on the parampara system. So parampara is very, very important. Nowadays, we can watch hundreds and millions of videos, or online we can go through a lot of books. So many are available. Even if you go to any library or any bookstores, you'll get lot of books. You can go through anything, but if you're not connected to the parampara, you're able to confuse yourself, and ultimately you're heading nowhere. That is how it is going to happen. You may think that your ego, your head is, building with so much of knowledge. Oh, I'm so much knowledgeable now. But you go on doing it. So then ultimately you don't know the final conclusion. That is how it is happening. So, in the disciplic succession, what happens is the proper conclusions are transmitted through the succession, where each spiritual master has the responsibility of assuring his students to get the proper understanding. So, in ISKCON, we have a process of, once coming to the institution. You see, we as a ISKCON, this is the only organization. If you go through, you can do a research yourself, that people come to the temple, they have darshan, they have prasad, then they start attending classes. That's how they become part of the family. They stick on to it because there is the attraction which is driving because of the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. So they get attracted, they see, yes, so it's not that outspoken or something, But that is how the process is working. You come, you sit, you understand, then you also realize, yes, this is the truth. Yes, this is the reality. This is the life. So then you start taking it literally, and you'll start trying to practice it. So when you put it in practice, you'll understand, you realize it. That is how it is working. That's why so many people in abundance, so many are coming nowadays, since Srila Prabhupada started this movement. And we see so many devotees being attending. So that is how it is. So the responsibility of a spiritual master is to make sure that the students properly understand, so they digest it. Then they later transmit to other students. We are not speaking on our own. Now, today also, I'm not speaking on my own. I'm reading, referring to Srila Prabhupada books, and I'm reading here and there, taking references from different, the Shiksha Gurus. Okay, Shiksha Gurus means they are transmitting the same words, what Srila Prabhupada has spoken. So they're giving a conclusion of that. So taking that information, and I'm also preparing myself and giving that. So we transmit that to others, and that is how it has been passed on. Now we approach a spiritual master, we have to inline see that he is following what the previous acharyas have done. So that is how the success of this process is. So success in this system thus is measured in our capacity to understand, first of all. First of all, the rule number one is we have to understand properly and apply that knowledge. Then we can transmit to others. So if I just smoke and tell others do not smoke, it doesn't make sense. Yep. What kind of a teacher I can be? So first thing is we have to apply that. So that is how we take part in this institution. Yeah. So definitely when we, as a parents, when we try to put our child, I'm just giving an example. When we try to put our child into a particular school, we do a lot of research and we agree, disagree, so many things, do's and don'ts, so many things we do, we debate, we discuss with the other parents also, which school is better, all those things we do. So similarly, that is a discretion which is given to everybody. So that's the individual way of testing the knowledge. So similarly, when we approach institution, when we come to ISKCON, it's an individual right that we ask the different teachers who are there, the schooling system. So that is how it's not a challenging way, but that's why Krishna mentions about inquire, pariprashnena. You inquire submissively and then you start serving. So that's how you'll receive the real knowledge. So we are not, that's why in the beginning I said, are we following blindly? No, you're going to accept it, not blindly, but you're going to inquire it. So that's how we have begun. We started attending. There were so many answers which were, we were hearing, which we were internally, we were looking for. So that was transmitted by hearing so many lectures. So by reading books, we got satisfied. We got the answers. So we can see that Srila Prabhupada, um, he met his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So when he asked so many questions, because Srila Prabhupada was a Gandhian movement, he was following, he wanted that we want Swaraj. We have to get independence from the British rule. We have been subjugated. But when he saw that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he gave a much more higher perception of what exactly the freedom is. So then he accepted him as a spiritual master. So that's how he studied under him. He read a lot of books. Like I was reading in the Leela Amrita that Srila Prabhupada, when he used to sit in Delhi or it can be Vrindavan, so he used to refer to a big book, a Bhagavatam book, which was translated and with the commentary of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And when he was preparing the manuscript of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, so he had the conclusions of all the 10 to 12 acharyas. So he used to sit under a dim light, just a small bulb in a small room, and whole night he used to sit and write commentaries on that. So that's how initially when he met Lal Bahadur Shastri, he presented those Bhagavatam and they really appreciated him. So that's a long thing which you can read yourself. Um, so why I'm telling this is the it's just not a book we are just buying over a counter and we are reading it and keep it in the cupboard. on the shelf. So this principles, what we are reading today, Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, it is going to be till our last breath, until we keep understanding it. It's not that one time you read it and you leave it. So that is how it is. It is not the way it is going to work. So Srila Prabhupada gave us these books. It is very, very important. And how he received, that also we have to understand. So he was walking, talking Bhagavatam. So that's how it is being explained by his disciples also. So many disciples mentioned that. So that is also the line we have to follow in the footsteps, that when we speak or we talk or walk, we have to be in line with what the principles we have been taught. So that's how we can be representing ISKCON actually. It's not just ISKCON that means you wear a tilak, you wear a dhoti kurta, and you just become a devotee. So that's not it is going to work. So one may stay for a long time in the process of inquiry. So they can be so many questions, comparing with other things, or even challenging sometimes. But at one point, someone has to accept it. I have to accept it, whether this is good or not. Or else, say, for example, we are all committed to a certain school, and we try to understand the philosophy, and we go to a particular master or school, and if we go on disagreeing, and then we leave and join another school, yes, of course, that free will is there, but we cannot be hovering from here to there, there to here. That is not how the parampara system works. So if you're claiming that I'm part of this particular parampara, or I'm part of this institution, that means you have to agree the principles, or else it is called as duplicity. You're a duplicate. You're showing the duplicity in you. You say you're claiming that you are part of this, but you're not following it. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so that is the description which is being given. Even Srila Prabhupada had few disciples who came in, who learned from him, but they disagreed. So Srila Prabhupada says you're free to leave, and because they were going against the principles. Like one of the disciples, Srila Prabhupada disciple, he was there and he was giving initiation, and there was a lot of thing, like he was the guru, all those things were happening, and he had his own philosophy. But Srila Prabhupada chastised him and said, when spiritual master is this, unless he tells you to do it, you cannot do it. So he left. So he's still there. That Prabhu is still there, and he has his own, smaller congregation movement. So those things also happen. If you're not in line with parampara, you can leave freely. So, in this parampara system, the authority of knowledge does not come from the originality, but from the authenticity. So, we have to see the authenticity of the knowledge we are receiving. That is very, very important. As I mentioned, we just cannot here and there research some book. Nowadays, online, you'll just type something, ChatGPT also is there, or you Google it, you just receive something, and we don't know where the authority or authenticity is there from that particular knowledge. And you can just type any pastime, or you can type any kind of philosophy or something, you just get it. So many things are available in the net. So we cannot just take that and answer to someone, oh, this is how I'm going to follow it. No. So one becomes authorized to teach or represent the sampradaya, not by inventing something new. So this is something which Srila Prabhupada was very, very clear. You cannot invent something new. Whatever is there, you have to present as it is. That's why Srila Prabhupada has mentioned as it is. So, but what is the role of us? Now today we are all, representing ISKCON, and we are learning so much. So what is that? Our role is to become transparent via medium. So for whatever it has been taught by our previous Acharya, we just repeat those words. So that is how all the way we can go to Krishna. So Krishna himself. So Krishna himself is the Adi Guru. He is the original spiritual master. And after him, the line is there, the four schools. So there are so many acharyas who have appeared, and one after another. For us, Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya, is very, very important, because he is the main Acharya. Just like other sampradayas, they consider Ramanujacharyas as the prime, the philosophy which he taught, and which is in line with Sri Sampradaya. So similarly for the Gaudiya Sampradaya, especially the ISKCON, for us in line is Srila Prabhupada. So because the way he has to put up amount of uh, giving the conclusions, nobody can do it. So that's why when we sing Jagat Guru. Jagat means the entire world. That's how he was predicted that he would go everywhere and teach this simple process of Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada explains that being a spiritual master is actually very simple. Where one has to just be like a postman. He gives this example: postman. The postman is just delivering whatever is there to the other person, and he's doing it faithfully. So faithfully transmitting the conclusions of the previous teachers. So Srila Prabhupada also did the same thing. He read, he understood, he did that, and he gave the same thing, whatever he heard, and he has given to us. So Srila Rupa Goswami makes this point exclusively in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Shruti Smriti Purana Adi Pancharatrika Vidim Vinanaikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpayate Kalpate. So he says that devotional service to the Lord that ignores authorized Vedic literatures. It can be Upanishads, Puranas, and Narada Panchatra, is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. So, if you do not follow the system and you go here and there read anything, it is going to be just disturbance. First of all, I'll be the biggest disturbance, and I'm going to disturb others also. I'm first of all confused by reading here and there, and I'm going to confuse others also. So Srila Rupa Goswami is very, very clear on that. So they have carefully read, preserved, they have passed on the information, the conclusions through the parampara, and that is what we are following. So to join this, the disciplic succession, we have all already joined. So initiated or not initiated, we are attending the classes, we are accepting, we are chanting. To Srila Prabhupada, in simple words, if you read through the small books or any passages or any conclusions, if you go through the purpose, he mentions that you chant 16 rounds, you follow the regulative principles, you're done. You're into the disciplic succession because you're following the conclusion that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you're accepting that we are not just chanting out of it's a time pass or something, some social convention or something. I want to belong to this group or something like that. So to join the disciplic succession is not a casual thing. It is not a casual thing. It's a sacred vow. It's a lifelong vow. Just like you're committed to your husband or you're committed to your wife, during the marriage. So those days the marriages were sacred. Nowadays, people know each other for 10 years. They get married and they get divorced within few months. Or so nowadays, I hear that they get married, but they don't stay for a long time, not even a year or maybe a few months. They just get divorced. They spend so much. Um, so it's a sacred vow. So you're committing that, yes, lifelong. I'll be your husband, because in front of the Agni, when marriages happen. So I'll take care of you. So I'm the responsible person. So there's a mutual understanding which is happening. So here that's how I'm just giving this example. So a sacred vow that I will follow this. Now this is not just for this lifetime. Janme Janme Prabhu se. So when we sing Guru Vandana, we are accepting that the spiritual master is not just maybe for some time or maybe this lifetime. Janme Janme Prabhu says. That means I am accepting him as my master life after lifetime. So just imagine, just understand that where Srila Prabhupada is coming from and why he is picking us up. We have all been picked up, or else we would have been just loitering in the streets today, like so many other people you see. You just go see there are people loitering around. What are they doing? They're just in this world looking for here and there sense enjoyment. So they're just roaming around, wandering souls. So based on learning the truth and aligning myself with the conclusions of this lineage, the great lineage which is coming from the Supreme Lord Himself. I may not understand in the beginning all these conclusions, but I need to work. That's how, a student, you see our children, they go to the school, they learn a new concept today, and they'll come and ask, Mama, Papa, I don't understand this. Can you teach me? Again, we have to, sit with them and make them understand. Oh, they are not able to understand. So the child is also endeavoring that, okay, I need to understand the concept. So similarly, in the beginning, we may not understand the conclusions, but when we try to put an effort, then we'll understand the concept. The acharyas have mentioned, yes, they are correct. And we refine ourselves in our understanding. So attending these classes continuously and reading Srila Prabhupada books and hearing to Srila Prabhupada, this is very important. Hearing to Srila Prabhupada and reading his books refines our consciousness, so I can properly understand and later represent him. Or else we'll represent a wrong uh, total personality myself. So that is how it is going. So as a student, my authority resides in properly representing the conclusions of the school, and not my capacity to produce something, not my speculations or something. There are people, see, when we come into ISKCON, there are all kind of peoples, and we have to be careful that whom we are hearing from and what are the conclusions they are giving. If they are not directing you towards the previous acharyas or the Supreme Lord himself, and they're representing something else, you can just reject those speculative speakers, or it can be some entertainment classes. So it's very, very important that we have to understand. This is a Krishna. Srila Prabhupada mentioned that Krishna consciousness is a serious business. You're not playing around the fool, beating around the bush also. It's a very serious business. Um, Else what happens is I'll be a fraud in front of the Lord. That it's very much evident. So on the other hand, one should be able to understand and present these teachings using the words examples appropriately for the current context. We use so many examples, modern examples also, so that people can understand, presenting this knowledge in a way. So that is how Srila Prabhupada has mentioned. So in conclusion to this class, the Vedic school, especially in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he is the one who started this Sankirtan movement. Sankirtan means not just the Kirtana, that is also part of Sankirtan, but Sankirtan is more of representing Supreme Lord. We are representing the Supreme Lord and we giving this message. Now, since we are representing Srila Prabhupada, we are committed to study everyone under this one umbrella. Just like Govardhan, there was Govardhan, Krishna is lifting and everybody is in under that Govardhan. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada has created this big umbrella and we are studying under that and we are able to understand and we are giving these conclusions faithfully and without any distortions or speculations. We do not compromise on that. So this is the test of loyalty and integrity one has to pass on and become proper transmitter for the absolute truth, Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. Okay, so I conclude my class here. Thank you very much for your time. Hare Krishna devotees.